Hi, everybody. Today I want to talk about acknowledging emotions and feeling into your body. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist. Please seek professional help if you need it. I'm just sharing what I've learned through my experiences. When I first started on my spiritual journey, I didn't know what it meant to feel into your body. I believe that we all have an emotional body. So this emotional body is an energy field that overlays onto our physical body, which records and helps express and process everything that has to do with our emotions and what we feel in our physical body. As with anything, it can express in a positive or a negative way. So to help myself with this, I was doing shadow work, but I wasn't truly processing and releasing the emotions. So I was performing the work without actually getting any benefit from it. I was doing what we call spiritual bypassing. I would read books and listen to videos where feeling into your body was mentioned. And I'd think, what does that actually mean to feel into your body? I'm alive, I have feelings, my hands touch things. Aren't I already feeling into my body? It sounds really silly, but I just didn't get it. The main reason was because I had been pushing down feelings of joy, sadness, sorrow, guilt, shame, etc. I didn't start off that way. It actually started in my late 20s and was cemented fully in place by the time I was 40. As with everyone here on the planet, I already had trauma and wounding, so the situation I was in caused me to start pushing down my feelings to where I became a borderline dismissive avoidant. I never completely lost the feeling of love, but I did hit the mute button on it most of the time. Sometimes I would feel completely emotionless and felt like there was no joy in my life. I did go through dips of depression. I got really good at ignoring my emotions. If I started to feel them come up, I'd say no, shake it off. At the time, most of my emotions weren't good ones, so it was just easier for me not to feel them. If I was at home, I would go eat until I was so full that my stomach hurt. Usually while I was watching TV for that additional distraction. The bottom line is that I wasn't allowing myself to feel the emotions. So how could I feel into my body? So how did I fix it? I did some inner child and some negative self-talk work, but mostly I had to relearn to recognize and start feeling my emotions. I also learned that I was in denial. I was denying myself love, acceptance, and joy, forgiveness, because I didn't think I deserved it. And that was very damaging to my emotional body. I started to journal. Journaling is such a simple thing that I never wanted to do. I think it was because if you do it correctly, you have to face yourself. But once I did, I started that healing process. I would put aside some time during the evenings, not every night, but as often as I could. Before I would start journaling, I put my hand on my stomach or my heart, and I would tell myself that I'm okay and it's safe to feel this emotion. So then I get my journal out. This is my 2026 journal that I got from my sister, right? I'm already starting. Then I'd ask myself the following questions. How am I feeling today? What emotion was the most significant today? How does my body feel? Write down the area and what you are experiencing. Is your jaw clenched? Is your stomach queasy? And then, why am I feeling this way? What was the event that triggered me to have this feeling? Why do I deserve to acknowledge this feeling? What happened in my past that could have made me be feeling this way? Did I feel this when it first came up, or did I push it down? How can I do a better job of recognizing what I'm feeling as soon as it comes up? Did this feeling start in my body first? Did I notice any clenching? Did I make faces? I don't have a poker face, so if I'm mad at you, you're probably going to know. But I would keep asking myself these questions until I was satisfied with the answers. Another thing to this, too, is that if you're an empath, you have to ask yourself some other questions. So I also learned through the years to ask these questions. Is this truly my feeling, or am I allowing someone else's feelings to affect me? If it's my feeling, what's causing it? If it's someone else's feeling, I would send them love and imagine that energy, like their energy was just kind of like passing through my body. And I'll also now ask my higher self to assist in bringing up and helping me release with ease things that might not be in my full awareness. Like if something's like if I'm just like super irritable and I don't know why, I'll sit down and I'll ask my higher self to you know, tap it on the shoulder for me. Okay. So it's important that once we can feel things again, that we acknowledge and release this emotional energy for the health of our mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so how do we release this emotion? I do this by expressing the emotion that I'm feeling in a safe and loving way. I imagine that as I'm experiencing it, I am, like I said, I imagine that it's just passing through my body. Unless I'm driving, that's a video for another day. If I recognize that I'm feeling sad, I express the emotion by crying. If I'm mad, I'll yell or scream whenever I have a safe space to do so. If I'm feeling happy, I smile. You get the picture. So there's a couple other ways that I like to do it too. Music helps me release the emotions. It brings things up for me from the past. You know, when you listen to a song, it takes you back to where you were at that place in time. So I recognize and acknowledge it. I don't write about it. I try not to let my mind come in and start labeling it. I just keep singing and let the emotion express itself with tears, anger, whatever it is. I just let that music move that energy right through me. Meditation and breathing. These are great ways to regulate your nervous system and release stuck energy. During meditation, if I'm able to get my monkey mind to shut up and to be still, I'll allow those emotions to come up, feel them in my body, and release them. I try not to label things during this time as well. If I'm at a point where like I'm doing something and my emotions get out of control during any of this work, or like if I'm at work and I'm really upset, I'll just go in the bathroom and then I'll remind myself that I'm okay and it's safe to feel this emotion, and then I do some really big breaths and I do some really big breaths and then some breath holds until I can calm myself down. Find a breathing or meditation video that you resonate with. Every time you practice it, you will get better and better at it. Breathing and meditation becomes an easy way for you to regulate yourself and your emotions. You're not suppressing by doing this. You keep the emotions from running away with you. It keeps you in a peaceful headspace so that you can react from your heart and not from your ego. I really like Breathe with Sandy. There's no affiliation. He has a bunch of great videos. He has a somatic breathing exercise that really helped me release a lot of stuck energy. And you can ground. Grounding is very easy. Walk on the earth with your bare feet. Walk in nature, at a park, walk around the block. What I did for a while after work, I was at a challenging job, emotionally challenging job. I would come home every day and I would sit on the ground out in the backyard. Didn't care if anybody saw me. I don't care if people think I'm weird, whatever. I would imagine energetic roots growing from my body down to the heart core of Mother Earth. And then I would imagine all of those overwhelming emotions flowing down my roots down into her heart core. You can't hurt her. She knows what to do. After I would do that for a little bit until I felt like the time was right, then I would imagine a beautiful golden pink light coming back up to my roots, coming through my hands and my feet, up into my heart core, and then out the top of my head. And then I would take some deep breaths and I would send her gratitude and love. And I would sit and listen to the birds and the noises of the neighborhood for a little while. And then I'd get up and go in the house and start cooking dinner. And that usually did a lot for me. That really worked. At the time, I was trying to break the habit of emotionally eating when I would come home from work, to try and stuff that energy down. So this was something that was really helping me. And then, of course, there's exercise. In my journey, it has really started to help me release some stuck emotions, which I was kind of surprised by. If I'm in a safe space, like I'm running in my living room on the treadmill or whatever, and an emotion comes up from listening to music or listening to a video that triggers me or something, I acknowledge it and let it pass through me. And it seems to move pretty quickly when I'm like in the middle of running. So I really like that because it's actually like a quick fix, honestly. Okay. So now we talked about ways to release it. So at this point now, can you feel into your body? Well, yes, you can. After you're able to recognize your emotions and how your body is actually feeling, you will realize that you're already doing this. You'll start to notice, oh, I'm getting tensed. All right, what's wrong? Take a breath, mental note. Okay, work through it later, especially if you're at work and there's nothing you can really do about it at the time. And then you'll be able to ask your body how you feel about certain situations too. So, one example was last year I was flying to Sedona for a spiritual retreat. And I was feeling pretty good, excited to go. I was on the airplane. We started going through some turbulence. And all of a sudden, I just started tensing up, having super bad anxiety. And I was like, we're going to die. And I was like, hold on. I've had good feelings about this trip the entire time I was booking it, before I was leaving. I was like, this can't be right. And so I started to relax, get into my body, feel my body, go into my heart center. My body was fine, like for what I was feeling, but it was picking up on somebody else because, again, I'm an empath. So I started to look around, and the poor lady sitting next to me was like covered her face, and she was like rocking, and I was like, oh, there it is. So I sent her from my heart center some love, some calmness, like we're going to be okay. And then I took a couple more deep breaths, and then we continued to fly and landed it. And of course, we were fine. So none of the healing that we do is a linear process. And I'm still doing the work that will never stop. And I still need to remind myself that we're not our emotions or opinions, right? We are source energy having a human experience on earth. We feel to learn and discern. That may be my new catchphrase. Thank you for watching, and I hope my experience can help you with releasing and acknowledging your emotions.